Right guys, installation of CRD3 tri-channel tuning system to BMW 335d 313 PS. Exactly the same engine layout as a 30D and a 25D from 2010 on. So, remove engine cover, chuck it out of the way, not literally of course. One plug to be removed, so the clip removes, pushes back, give it a little squeeze, plug comes off, took it out of the way. The next thing to remove is your two pop retainers for this little bit of fibre matting. So the easiest way is small screwdriver, start removing the centre cap, get your fingers under there, you're probably not going to see this on the video, and then the whole thing comes out like that. Took it out of the way so it doesn't get lost. This one is a little bit trickier to get at from an access point of view, but exactly the same principle. Pull the little middle bit out. Even if it comes out like that, it's no biggie, because you can just get in like that and remove the other bit. So, next thing you want to do is this padding that you've just released. If you move that backwards and fold it upwards slightly, you'll notice on this side of the engine a little cutout for where this cable comes for that plug you've removed. If you manipulate that towards your presto boost sensor, we'll come back to that in a second. The rest of this, if you put your hand underneath, you'll feel the edge of the foam and just gently manipulate the foam backwards towards you. It's a little bit of a pain, but if you take your time, it'll all come round, and you manipulate it out from underneath the foam padding like so. So you've obviously got access to your boost sensor down this side, and now if I don't get the camera in, that fella there is your cam position sensor. So the two main sensors that you need to get at, which are the little bit of a pain in the bum to get to, are easily accessible without splitting this air intake off. To be fair, if you wanted to split it off, go for it. Then you can easily remove this bit of foam and get it all out of the way so you can get your eyes on and see exactly where you're at. But for the purposes of this install, we're going to do it this way. So what we're aiming for is the DTUK CRD3 tuning module to live here when the install's complete. The cables are going to run out of the bottom of it. They're all going to run up here. Boost sensor's going to run off to here. Camshaft position sensor's going to run across and under the foam padding to here. And the common rail sensor cable is going to run around past the airbox, over the top of the alternator, around with the alternator cable, and in here to the common rail. But we'll come to that connection later, because I'll make a connection outside of this foam for the common rail. Right, so now that all the preparation's done, the next thing you need is your tuning box and your wiring loom. Tuning box is going to end up sitting underneath this rubber bobbin on the aircon pipe. Just gently tease it up, and it's going to sit under there. Push it up so that it touches the top of here, and we're going to put a little cable tie around it, and that's where essentially the box is going to live when it's installed. So the next thing you need is your wiring loom, and all of the wires are going to go backwards from the box behind this junction box and round to here. Obviously you're going to route the boost sensor plug to there, you're going to route the cam sensor plug to in here, obviously underneath all of this, and the common rail sensor is going to come around here, under a bit of conduit here, under this cable, around the front and under here. Obviously we're going to make a connection in there, but I'm going to make this other connection outside of here, and I'll explain why later when we get to it. So, loom plug, amp plug, tuck it under there. You see, who's just gone live. So, route it with a little bit of, use your noodle. The furthest away cable is going to be a cam position sensor. I'll explain something about this wiring loom as well. This is a customer that's taken advantage of. He had a 30D. He's now got a 35D. It uses the same wiring loom, different software on the box. So he's upgraded the software and he's having the install on this, which is why the cable looks a little bit second hand. So your furthest away, you always route first. Tuck it all under there and just lie it over there so you know where it's going to go. Same with the boost sensor cable, which is number 2. On top of the cam position sensor cable, just lie it there. Common rail sensor, I'm going to go exactly the same way, even though it doesn't go to the back of the engine, it goes to the front. We're going to come around the box, we're going to go over the top of this one, we're going to go underneath that conduit, and we're going to go underneath this cable. Basically every time you go underneath something, it's holding the cable and conduit secure, so there's no need to use as many cable ties or fasteners, so it makes it easy for you to take off if you need to take it off. So we'll go underneath all of this again, just keeping everything still so it's not going to move around or anything like that. And when you get to here, what we're going to do is, this one obviously is going to go in there and connect to there, but this one I'm going to make the connection outside and behind this wire. Again, it makes a little bit of extra space. Sometimes you'll find as well the orientation of this plug isn't very clever because the clip's actually underneath, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to get off. The easiest way to do it is if you can manipulate the clip with your little finger, or a finger that you can actually get under there and squeeze it. And if this hasn't been off for a while, you'll need to push the plug onto the sensor to break the seal that the rubber has around the actual plug. So all you're doing is put your finger on the clip, pulling the clip up towards you, pushing it on, and hopefully the plug will come off that easy for you. So basically the plug that came off, we're making a connection to our wiring loom, creating a loop if you like. Make sure it plugs right in, no big step or anything like that. That's another common misconception that customers have. They think it's plugged in, but it's not. And this plug, the wire is going to go on top of there and in and onto that plug. Push it till it clips, and we're going to have that around there, but when that comes down, when the foam comes down over the top of it, it holds it all secure. Now if you can imagine, if we had made that connection inside of there, this Y piece would have been on there and that wouldn't sit properly, and then the engine cover wouldn't go on properly. So, one more thing I need to point out, even though I've made this connection. The last connection you make on our systems is the amp plug to the box itself, right? Don't plug this in first and then do sensors. That's a lot more critical on a 12-volt system, because the second off last connections you make are battery connections, negative and positive, for a power supply to the system. Now if you've got the box connected and you inadvertently get a spark or a spike when you're connecting the negative and the positive, it will or could potentially fry the box, and that's it, game over. You would have to buy a new box. All the relevant literature explaining that on 12-volt systems is supplied with the kits when we send them out. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit the boost sensor first, which I would normally do camshaft, but because this clip is very much the same as the camshaft clip, and it's easier for Adam to film. I'm going to show you how it comes off rather than showing you how the camshaft one comes off and not being able to see it. So that foam that you've removed, you can see the camshaft, the boost sensor plug clip basically slides backwards like that. You give it a squeeze and the boost sensor comes off. The boost sensor plug comes off, and what you're going to do is simple really. Our plug, which goes to the plug that came off, but another thing to explain, grey or white clip and our clip do not go together. You'll see, because you'll have to really force it to make the plug in. It's actually opposed, so on the opposite side to that, and when you push it in it'll click. Push the white securing clip on, and this obviously goes in the same orientation as it came off, with the clip facing up to you. Ours is a grey clip, that was a white or grey clip on the BMW. Basically find the plug, sensor plug where you came off, push it, plug it in, it clicks into place, push the security tag over. It's that simple. Just get your wires so that they look neat and tidy and tucked away. We'll deal with this slack in a wee while. So, camshaft sensor. Again, a little bit of a stretch to get to, but if we pull this foam over, lift that deadening up, that plug, that's actually more or less staring you in the face, is your cam position sensor. So again, same plug as boost sensor. Finger on the clip, pull the clip backwards. You'll have to get both hands, you'll have to get a hand in there to squeeze the plug, and cam position sensor comes off. Now this is where things get a little bit tricky if you don't take notice. Everything's going to run under here, so just be sure that you know where it's at. Cam sensor plug, right? Looking at it, exactly the same as a boost sensor, but also doesn't go in the way the boost sensor does. Turn it round, clip goes to the same face as the mountain boss this time. Clips together, safety clip in. Again, plug goes back on the same way you took the original one off, even though the clip's a different colour. I'll have to get two hands in here on this because it's a little bit of a tricky one to get at. Plug on the sensor, push it on with the end of your finger till it clicks, security tag down. All of that is going to tuck in there. As best you can. There's not a great deal of space under here, to be honest. And again, I didn't design them to have little boxes and extra wires going under them. So basically now all I'm going to do is feed all this foam back under here. And what you usually find is you'll get it so far under and it'll just kind of pop back into where it was, because underneath it it's actually formed in the shape that it goes around all the pipes and everything. I might have to manipulate it a little bit just to get it to go, but once it's in, you'll find it's in. And when that's over, when that's back down on there, all of this is going to come back over and it's going to go back down where it was. We're going to put these clips in and then we're going to head back and connect to the box and secure the cables up. So all I'm doing now is just securing this material cover now with the clips that it came with originally. And what you'll find is sometimes as well that everything will have slipped backwards a little bit because you've had it out of the way, so you might have to just get in and manhandle it a little bit back up into position. But again, it's no biggie. It's because I wasn't quick enough to get it in there and put my little centre pad pin in it. Bear with us. Who said film making was easy? Right, that plug back on there, clip it in, clip it closed, and then all I'm going to do now is just tidy these cables up. And what I generally do is the ones that have some slack, obviously the shorter runs, I usually just tidy them up under here so we can make a connection to the box. So basically all of that slack that you've got in any of them, just pull them through one at a time, and then you know where you're at with them. And then you've got them all more or less in the same place. And then we've got these funky little Velcro cable ties which we use here. We actually supply normal plastic electrician's cable ties in the kits, which work just as well, to be fair, but our Velcro ones are just easier and work well, even when they've got slaver on. So just pretend this is a normal cable tie. Not the neatest, but I'm conscious that we're losing light as well while we're filming, so but you'll get the idea. You get the idea. So basically, next connection and last connection is amp plug to tuning box. So it basically clips on like that. It's as simple as that. And again, that's tucked under there. We're going to put just one of our cable ties around there, and it holds the module steady, stops it from vibration, and to be honest, you've got to go through a mighty big puddle to get any kind of water ingress anywhere near that box, especially on this engine. And that's it.